And it looks like we're live.
Like live on the thing?
Live, live, live. Let's
Okay.
go.
Uh, excellent. You've reached Sherry and Sam of Broadmind. I hope you're here. I don't know how we can see. Do you see anybody there? Has anybody joined us?
So far, not yet.
Not
Haven't
yet.
seen anyone join yet. So hopefully we'll just give them a few minutes to
Yeah.
find the link and join up.
So while people are coming, Sam, I know you're working in the background, but I love that you put this together, just trying new things.
Yeah, yeah, man. It's a super cool and unique opportunity to be able to go live to everybody. So I thought, why not? Let's bring the joy of Sherry to our to our followers.
I was just having a conversation with a client, and we love to have chats about, learning skills and knowledge. And the two of us were specifically focusing on, how do you manage stress and anxiety? Like, what are the problems in the workplace? And so it was just so nice to have that conversation and then to be able to pop onto this because it just feels so relevant. It feels like this is what other people are managing as well. So learning together or coming live together on Facebook, YouTube, and the LinkedIn. I wonder if people are just like scrolling and they could see us just chatting. Like, is there
Yeah,
or do they have to join?
I think there is some aspect. I think you do have to click and join, but
Okay.
it does show on the feed. So yes.
So I wonder if I open up my LinkedIn, if I could see where that is as well.
So let me post it.
Oh, yeah, I see. I see. Oh my God, I could see it live. You're on one side. That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I'm watching myself live. So when people sort of scroll by, they can see.
Yeah. So yeah, I just posted that as well. So let's see. Um. Oh yeah, that's
So I'm going to
amazing.
repost. I'm just going to do that. I just reposted it to mine.
Okay, that's excellent.
So there's a little bit of a delay. But the cool thing is, too, you're there and I'm there. So as we go through the material, your facial expressions and stuff, they'll be part of the
Mm-hmm.
process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's super cool, man. So just let me let's see this here. Oh wow, okay. So right now it's huh. Okay. Okay, so I see the issue now, Sherry. So it's how do
Oh, so I just
I
joined.
okay, so it's man, that's really connected too.
If for some reason there are people watching and present, please join us in this as we try and figure it out because it's pretty cool to be able to do stuff live. Um, yeah, so I'm just,
Yeah, so the official page, Sherry, that it's
yeah,
on,
yeah.
um, it seems that it's not connected to this exact stream. So I'm just trying to figure out how I connect it.
Well, no, I'm seeing it on LinkedIn right now.
Yeah, no, that's like this this meeting that we populated, but the one like the actual like the event page that I created where
Oh,
people are waiting there,
oh,
it's not connected to this back end here.
okay.
Um, hmm, that's so we do have one person on YouTube. That's amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Welcome,
hey.
Jason.
So yeah, there's 33 people waiting in the other one.
Okay.
Let me just see here. It's not
So for the YouTube person, well, Sam, you're working in the background. Interrupt me anytime, Sam, but I just want to take advantage of our YouTube person's time. Hello and welcome. And we're talking about helping others through stress and maybe some anxiety. There are skills that we can learn. And over the past almost 10 years, meeting thousands of people, we've been talking about those skills. So hold tight. We're going to be talking about what we can do to support others, especially in leadership roles, and how we can support ourselves. So if you are interested and still want to watch and listen as we put this together, it's our first time. It is our first time doing this. So I appreciate you very much being here. We're just going to get the rest of the participants in, if we can. And if not, we will certainly record and send. All right. Sam, how you feeling?
feeling excellent. I'm just going to try to send the people that are waiting the other one, the link to this one so that we
Okay.
can just hopefully that'll just
No, normally this would be a stressor,
so it's
but not
perfect.
anymore. It's not anymore.
uh,
If you've carved out a full hour to listen and participate, appreciate you. We'll cram in all the information within the existing 50 minutes, 50 minutes. Because you deserve information, skills, knowledge, time for you, all of that. And it's Friday in December, like the first Friday in December. And yeah, that's a point of pause, isn't it? Meaning the end of the year, maybe moving into the holidays, things you wanted to accomplish, maybe a reset for 2025. I'm just putting words out there for our YouTube person. Are they still there?
oh yeah. Sorry, I'm in the background just trying to. But yeah, YouTube is still there, and I think other people are there too. It's not bear with us, y'all. It's our first time going live through different platforms all at once, so super sorry for the confusion here, but we'll get it right for sure.
So maybe while we're waiting to, I'll just ask that our YouTube person or persons, if there's more, maybe just take this as a moment to pause and maybe reflect on 2024. What the heck happened? What were the highlights? Maybe what were the lowlights? What did you do that you felt really proud of? I know I like to take the end of the year to kind of do a reset. There have been many Decembers in my lifetime that were a blur. Raising kids, running a business, trying to manage my own mental health and well-being. December is a really interesting time, and the cool, wonderful yumminess of the holidays, or the distraction of the holidays. Spending time with people you love, people you're learning to love, people you're learning to manage. And one of the things I've come to realize is that we have, of course, no control over anyone, just ourselves. And so, having said that, isn't it a good idea to focus on the skills and knowledge that can help us? I know we've been working on that, creating self-care models, doing mental health first aid, the working mind, all kinds of training that can help us learn those skills to be better us's, as well as to support each other. So we're going to dive into some skills in a bit. Very close, YouTube person. I wish you could participate by throwing some stuff on there. But I do appreciate you very much being here. All right, maybe grab a tea, grab a coffee, grab a liquid. I've been traveling all week, so I think I've got traveler cough. I'm going to call it that. What's the feeling of success, Sam? How are we feeling?
So I sent a few messages to some of the people who signed up for the other one. I'm showing some people are there. So just give it a second, y'all. Super sorry for this, man. Thank you for spending your time, your precious time with us as we get through this. Should be getting everything ready soon.
You're doing great, Sam. This kind of feels like reality TV. Watching Sam and Sherry figure out, what are they doing? What are they doing? All right, you know what I could do is just start going through some of the material, and then as people join, they join, but then it's recorded, it's available. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's an amazing idea, Sherry.
Okay. For our one YouTube person and anyone else that's able to join, first of all, I just want to applaud Sam for putting this together. It was his idea, and he put all the background pieces. He's a very clever individual and a go-get-'em kind of attitude, and always very positive. I appreciate you, Sam, very much. So let me start off with that. Then I'm going to just dive in and tell you hello from me, Sherry Lachine. I'm the founder and a lead facilitator with Broadmind, where we bring what we call strategies for mental health, but really we're talking about the skills and the knowledge around mental health and well-being, specifically to workplaces, but I also donate my time so that people within the community can get this training for free. If you want to know more about that, reach out to either Sam or myself. Sam is client care at broadmind.ca, and I'm Sherry at broadmind.ca. So without further ado, we're going to dive into some mental health training so that by the end of this 45 minutes, you have maybe a refresh in your skills and knowledge around how do you manage stress and support your team. And so we are speaking to leaders, managers, and more, but I get the sneaky suspicion that we're all leaders, we're all managers, and more. Anytime you are bringing people together, anytime you're trying to get your ideas across, anytime you're trying to meet a target or a goal, you're a leader. And so with that mindset or framework, let's kick off and dive in a little bit deeper. I usually like when I do live sessions where maybe sometimes I can see people or see the chat. This time, no bother, but this is a reflection exercise. I love it when we check in with ourselves. And of course, the internet has many ways that we can do it. The one that I really like is this guinea pig situation. Take a moment, check in on yourself, maybe for how you feel today. Is there a guinea pig or pigs that reflect what's going on with you today? And I'm going to tell you, I know which one I've got like an 8-6 combo going on. Even before we started, I was like, Sam, do I tie back the hair? I was like, no, like let it roll. That's where the eight's coming. And Sam, I'm going to ask you, but I think I know, although you're going through a stressor, how are you feeling?
You know me, I'm usually always the number one, but now I'm feeling a little seven vibe, trying to get these people situated and everything. But no, it's still a good vibe here as always.
Okay, I love that. See, that is the first time where you've shifted from the one to something like, it's like, yeah, I'm feeling something, I'm doing it. But moving through those feelings, that's a skill set as well. So, yeah, I'm going to applaud you on that. And everyone else, just check in for yourself. Where are you today? It is a skill to be able to get a sense of how you're feeling, what your emotional state is. And that's a whole other training to dive into. I thought I would lay out our path. I chose this picture because we just got a snowstorm here in Kingston, Ontario, and Toronto area. Um, Reflective of where we are, but our path today is we're going to talk about stressors and how to spot them in yourself, maybe in others. How do you manage that stress response? And you probably already have some of the skills here, but we're going to refresh and maybe give you a pro tip. How do you support others? We're a collective. We need each other, and the more skilled we are, the better we're creating a collective and a culture of care, support, being human. And then let's shift to ourselves. How do we focus on taking care of us as leaders? What does that mean? And how do we do it? So these are all going to be gentle touches on these topics. Of course, we can go deeper, and that's why the next steps and the wrap up. We're going to talk about how do you go a little bit deeper if this was helpful and meaningful to you. So maybe let's start with the stressors that we find in our workplace. And I like to sort of think of it as if we can phrase the question of maybe what aspects of our work we find are the most challenging, or maybe the most, I'm going to use the word draining. You know, where you just sort of feel like, and I know someone who said it's like they take a straw and put it in your sip sack and drain that from you. You just maybe know it and maybe aren't communicating that to yourself. Or maybe there's stressors in the workplace, like there's a lack of clarity, there's a high tempo, people are leaving and you're taking on their workload. Or maybe there's poor communication. Maybe there's priorities that you don't understand or are conflicting. Maybe there's no transparency. What about interpersonal conflict? Is that a stressor? And maybe some of the emotional demands. So I think if we spend a moment and think about our workplace, there are a number of stressors, and we spend what 60% of our waking hours in places where we do the work, as I like to say. Those stressors don't only impact us in the workplace, but dun, 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 they impact us in the rest of our lives, our home, our community, our drive to and from. I think you know what I'm talking about. And also, like, the stressors from home can impact us and the way that we show up at work, which then impacts the people at work. Do you see how this narrative plays out? So paying attention and understanding these stressors is, well, problem identification, number one, and maybe relatively straightforward to do. Solutions, I've always said, that's the harder part. So maybe we start with how do we spot those stressors? And I chose this tiger on purpose. First of all, great picture and staring right into you. But also the running narrative, as you may have already heard, is that stress is like that tiger that comes out of the bushes and is about to come and get you. Our bodies and our minds react to stressors, like all of the workplace ones that we talked about, like a tiger coming to get you. Our bodies, our minds react in such a way that is very primitive, but also complicated in some senses, the way that we think ourselves through it. So I think if we can spot our stress response, maybe we're a step in the right direction. Oh, and I have to add too, as much as I talked about all the stressors like conflict and people and pressures and deadlines, let's not negate how much this causes stressors. The bing, bing, ding, ding, ding of social media, headlines, people wanting your attention, and more. Let's pay attention to that. And as you watch this on a live broadcast on either YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn, I appreciate you. It's about recognizing when we're in a response. And so let's talk about how do we spot that response. And one of the things I think I'll just bring up is this whole idea of us reacting instead of responding to someone. And you may have heard of that. Reacting could be something like, why did you say that? Whereas responding is, okay, so that was said. How do we make it better? So paying attention to these reactions as opposed to maybe a measured, more helpful response. Also, what I like to pay attention to, heart rate and breathing. This is a physiological response to those stressors. Yeah, including that text message from your mother that says, why didn't you show up last night? Or why are you wearing your hair like that? Okay, that's a personal example. But those are stressors. Those are tigers. And so sometimes I even just put my hand to get my heart rate. And I pay attention to my breathing. If it's shallow and rapid, I may be in a stress response. These are things that maybe we're not coming in and paying attention to. Maybe another key tell of spotting a stressor is that your thinking brain has gone offline. You're in a fight, flight, freeze response, and you lose access to your executive function, your thinking brain. Yeah, I'm pointing here because typically speaking, we talk about the prefrontal cortex. And so when you no longer are thinking in a way that is helpful, calming, or there's nothing at all. I tend to, if I'm in a significant stress response, I got nothing. That could be a tell. And here's a pro tip. Pro tip is when that calm inner voice, it's gone. Right? So that ties into this thinking brain being offline, but to me is when I no longer have that bringing it down and not quick responses. I want to be able to get to a point where I'm like, all right, let's pause, let's think about that. Now, many people that I speak with, including myself, an earlier version of myself, I lived this always. I was in reaction. My heart rate was going, and I didn't really understand or recognize that I was in a stress response. So maybe paying attention to that, and we'll talk about why that matters in a moment. But I do want us to recognize that this stress response also has some background knowledge, and I'm stealing this from all kinds of different places. Places like Wounded Warriors Canada, where we help veterans and first responders and their families connect with these skills so they can manage stress, trauma, and keep their relationships healthy. And so maybe recognizing that we have a gas and a brake pedal in our nervous system. The gas being this sympathetic nervous system, which is like bursts of energy, adrenaline, cortisol. The heart rate goes up, the breathing gets shallow. But we also have a brake, that parasympathetic rest and digest. And there are ways that we can start paying attention to this gas brake situation so that we're not always, in the sympathetic. I also think that another set of skills is being able to check in with yourself, your body, your emotions, and your thoughts. Yes, I did steal that from Wounded Warriors Canada. They also talk about relationships. They're a good tell for when things are starting to go in a direction that maybe that's a prolonged stress response. We also talk about the lizard brain. We react to things like lizards do. The same part of that brain exists in many mammals and reptiles, and it is programmed to keep you safe. It gets rid of all that executive function and just says, I will do the things to keep me safe, like run away from the tiger, right? Fight the tiger, or freeze like the deer in the forest. And also, one of the things about this 30 days is maybe for a significant stressor, maybe losing your job, maybe encountering a significant trauma on the in the workplace. It may take about 30 days to actually release some of that stress and strain and emotions. Generally speaking, our emotions, and I stole this from a book called How Emotions Are Made by Dr. Lisa Feldman Barrett, and she says 90 seconds. 90 seconds to release and remove or process, sorry, not remove, but process an emotion. And that there's a window of tolerance, that we all have high highs, low lows, hyper and hypo sort of feelings and focus. And when we're outside of that window, that's when we get really hurt. And that window changes as a result of our environment and where we are in our stress response. So these are some of the skills and knowledge that you can dive in deeper to learn more. And this one I call a mental health thermometer. This thermometer, I also stole this. I'm going to stop saying steal this. I am using this from the Department of National Defense and the Working Mind. I do call it a thermometer. They call it a continuum. And the idea here is that when we're checking in with ourselves, I think it's important to kind of gain a sense of, are we healthy or are we moving through injury to illness? Just like a thermometer that measures our temperature, right? When we've got a normal, 98.6, we know that our body is functioning in a healthy manner. Yeah, we might have pain, we might have other things going on. The idea there is there's not a significant response. And so we all have our own healthy when it comes to our mental health, how we feel, how we think, and our resulting behavior. It gives us the capacity to enjoy our lives and also to deal with the challenges that we face, daily challenges. This thermometer also has this idea of reacting. When we get to a sense of, oh my gosh, I am reacting to a stressor, I'm responding. Maybe it's adversity, maybe it's challenge, maybe it's a stressor. You're feeling something different, you're reacting to something. And this is where we can spot the stressors. This is where I'd like for all of us to get to, where we spot our stressors so we're not moving down into an injury or an illness. Checking in with yourself from a mental health perspective. Because we all have indicators. For me, my yellow is irritability. Yeah, irritability, like, don't tell my husband this. I know we're live and maybe recording, but like when he's eating his breakfast and the chewing or the breathing bothers me, that to me is my irritation. I'm in yellow. I'm reacting. And that's okay. It's okay to be not okay, but it's recognizing the awareness so that you can do something about it. Because I hope that we can manage that, because that coping, surviving might push us into that orange, that injury. It's harder to manage. You're coping constantly. You're always in a stress response, which could then boot us down into an illness. And I've used this thermometer when we're checking in with ourselves, but guess what? You could also check in with other people. You know, even just to see some of their behaviors that change, we could say, okay, they're reacting to something, or maybe there's an injury. And maybe that healthy perspective shift gives us more compassion and support to help them manage stress, because the way we show up matters. And so checking on ourselves, checking on others, I think this tool can be helpful in a variety of ways. And I also want to plant a seed of hope. The hope being that we can all be our best selves, you know, optimal functioning, energetic. You feel good. Maybe you're curious and optimistic. Those to me are tells that I'm doing okay. When gratitude comes easier, to me that is more optimal functioning. And I tell you, from 2020 to 2024, blue, purple, optimal functioning, that was rare for me. I'm moving more towards seeing that blue-purple light and knowing how to get there. And that requires a lot of support for yourselves and support for others. And I think managing this stress response, I'm going to give you a hint. You deserve care. I mean, we all do. But when it comes to caring for others, I think we've got to start with caring for ourselves. I hope you agree. Now, I don't mean that it's just your only job. Reaching out to others is really important. It is a starting point. No one's going to take care of you the way that you're going to take care of you. I fully believe that. So how do we do that? How do we manage our stress response? Some of you already know this stuff, and that's good. Do you practice it? Have you baked it in to your daily? Yeah, me neither. But I'm getting there. And so I'm going to share with you that the research points to this mindfulness and being present. Not worrying about the past, not living in the stories in your head, not fear for the future, worrying about the future, but being present. Oh, this is a tough one. I think managing your stress response can help you get there. And practicing the idea of mindfulness, however you want to do that. If you're on the YouTube, go to the YouTube. Go to the YouTube. There's lots of mindfulness practices. Managing that stress response too, recognizing where you are, and then hitting the pause button. If you're in a conversation with someone that's going off the rails, hit pause. Say, can we continue this at another time? Or I just need a moment. Can I go to the washroom? Can I get a glass of water? Pause. Even if you've got the running narrative in your head, pause. Right? There's this idea of it doesn't have to all be said or solved right now is valid. The power of the pause. Self-awareness. Diving into this whole idea of where am I in that stress response? Am I gas? Am I brake? Where's my emotions? What kind of thoughts are popping in my head? What am I feeling in my body? Many of us have disconnected from our bodies. We'll get there. Oh, and a pro tip, boundaries. And boundaries aren't about putting up walls. Boundaries are about recognizing your priorities and values and being able to communicate them clearly. And then when you see that maybe someone is not reflecting your values or how you're living your life, that you can communicate that respectfully, safely. Setting those clear boundaries, it's a daily practice. You can bake that in, and it's a pro tip. Lots more to learn on that. So let's go to supporting others. And this picture is, of course, there because of the listening. But there are other ways, too, that we can support each other. I just feel like now, today, this whole idea of soft skills, we got that all wrong. And I believe that the researcher decades ago that was actually putting this together, and they figured out hard skills and soft skills. Hard skills are the tech skills, soft skills are the people skills. And they put them out there, and I think that immediately, or after a while, they're like, why did I call those soft skills? Because those are the hardest skills to master. And I agree. And here are some of them. Of course, we practice our listening skills. And is there more that we can learn? Absolutely. Being present, mindful, and available to someone works not only in our workplaces, and especially as leaders, it also works at home if you're raising young people. I know I had to learn those hard and fast. When my kids were turning in their double digits, I realized I wasn't showing up for them. These skills are for all of us in all relationships. And of course, some of the ways that we can show up and listen beautifully, so we can create these moments where we're flowing, maybe together we're creating that green or blue purple, is that we show up without that negative, pervasive judgment. I'm talking about the bias, the stigma, the narratives in our head, either known or unknown, about how other people are operating. People are who they are. as a result of everything that they've experienced, and we can't fully know what they've gone through. We hope that other people show us that same care and no judgment in those moments. It's huge. It creates trust, respect, right? It helps communication flow instead of having this, oh, they're judging me again. They think I'm stupid. They think I can't do it. This muscle of no judgment, huge. And we all, if we can be present for people, because we all want to be seen and heard. And I'm taking this from my therapist, who was teaching other therapists. And I hope you see this one, my therapist. And he was suggesting that all of these young new therapists were concerned about, how do I implement all of these skills? How do I help people? How do I show up and do all the things I'm supposed to do? And his suggestion or recommendation was just be present. We can offer that to everyone. We all want to be seen and heard. Being present is also a skill set. And curiosity, again, when I'm in a stress response, curiosity is an indicator that I'm not in my green. Maybe I'm feeling it, I'm yellow or orange. But if you can get to a place where you are curious, genuinely, about what people are thinking, feeling, and what their experiences are or are going to be, that's the juice. Pro tip is empathy. And here are some hacks for empathy. Eye contact in our culture, at least the culture I'm growing up in, eye contact is really important, especially when people first come into the room. So this is great for people who do any customer service, that you look at them, even if you don't have time to address, you just look at them, maybe do a little nod. We feel that to our core. So that's a hack. And our names. Learn people's names. Remember them. And if you don't remember them, say, I'm so sorry, I forgot your name. We love when people say our name. There's something foundational, fundamental, speaks to our core. And experiences. Again, it's like that curiosity piece, that we could actually recognize that other people have had experiences that may or may not align with our own. Maybe even picturing people as young children, like the experiences they may have had as young children, can help us with that empathy. Recognizing that you may not understand their hardships, but they've had experiences. Everyone has. Everyone has experienced some sort of pain or stressor. Just because we're carrying our load of pain, stressors, and more doesn't mean it's not heavy. And check this out, a skill set. This is magic. Mwah, 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 magic. That we practice validating people. Now, what that means is that we validate their feelings. We love it when people validate our emotional experience. So things like, it sounds like you're feeling really frustrated about this situation. It sounds like you're really sad. Right? You just take a moment, right? Especially if somebody comes in and says, I've had a really hard day. We say, okay. And so I hear you. You said you had a really hard day. That validating is huge because oftentimes we keep on our, oh, that's too bad. Okay, so this validation is magic. And other ways you can do that is try not to interrupt. Maybe inject that presence when someone's sharing something really hard. It doesn't have to take a lot of time. It could just take moments. If you're prone to being the interruptor, then pay attention to that. It cuts into this validation, cuts into helping people feel seen and heard. You can also normalize stuff. It's okay to be not okay. It can be a normalizing experience. It's okay that you feel that stress. It's okay that you need to take that day off. Yeah, many people do. It helps you recharge and come back to be your best self. Normalize. And pro tip, find those questions that help you show that you care. I like things even, can you tell me more about that? How'd you feel when that was happening? What's something that you've already tried to help yourself out here? Find these questions that help you show that you care, and sometimes you tuck them into your back pocket so they're ready for when you need them. And so, us, leaders without titles, people who are working with people towards a goal, towards a topic, towards better communication. How do we care for ourselves? And I got the sense that this could feel like Tetris. That's why I chose this picture. Trying to fit all our pieces together perfectly, sometimes quickly. Oftentimes we don't care for ourselves. And you can see how when we're not caring for ourselves, we'll react instead of respond. We may interrupt. We don't have the boundaries that we need. And so if we shift our mindset into one that says that we deserve care, just like everyone else, that the stress response impacts not only our well-being, but it shapes how we lead and how we manage. So the tools aren't just about supporting you, it's about building resilience, not only for you, but the people around you. So what can we do? First of all, I'm going to do a myth buster. And I'm so sorry, there is no work-life balance. There isn't. Work-life balance, and I've been saying this for years, and many people have echoed this, and I do it in the live courses where I stand on one foot trying to balance work and life, thinking that's not possible. There's only one me with a finite amount of time and a finite amount of energy. It's more about like prioritization. And I've already said that you deserve care, so how are you putting yourself into that prioritization? I think starting off by recognizing, well, that you deserve care. You deserve to be in that prioritization list if work-life balance doesn't exist, but it's work-life prioritization. And then what are the effective methods of caring for you? We did a landscape review of self-care models. One came back with 5, but I think one came back with almost 13 factors. And I looked at those 13 factors and read through them and thought immediately, damn, am I failing? I can't inject all 13 factors like physical, social, emotional, financial, spiritual, and more in every day, can you? Self-care isn't about the bubble baths. It's about how do you prioritize yourself, and then what are the things that you need to do to be your best self. So that's a focus. Oh, and we like to focus on that. You'll see when I share some of the next steps. We got some solutions there for you. I mean, it sounds like we got something there for you. We got that. We got something there for that. Anyways, and we bake it in. We bake it into our daily. That means if you are someone like myself who loves lists, like I've got an app for lists, I've got lists on my desk. I love writing lists and checking things off. I came to the stark realization a while ago that I'm not on that list. I got to bake myself in. And so finding ways to do that, things like Atomic Habits by James Clear and other books can really help you start figuring out ways to bake things in, including habit stacking that I was talking to someone about the other day, where if you're going to have coffee every morning, maybe it's coffee and 2 sentences of journaling. Maybe it's coffee and 30 seconds of breath work. You stack a new habit on a habit that you already do. Thank you, Atomic Habits. Bake it in. And pro tip, know your signs that things are going in a way that are yellow, maybe orange or red. Learn the signs of burnout. And I like to say that my pro tip on this is the check engine light. Right? Think about your check engine light on your car. If you've ever seen that come up, how do you react? And I'm saying that in a way that is like, oh, I did not react well when my check engine light came on. I think I have like magical thinking that it will heal itself. But when I've polled many people about their check engine light on their car, which of course I'm doing a parallel or a metaphor for your health, what do you do? Some people will say that they immediately get it checked out. Some people will say that they put tape over it. Some people say that they know who to call. Some people say that they have their own diagnostic equipment to check it out. There are different ways that when there's a warning sign, we do something about it. So figure out your warning signs. And again, as another pro tip, I shared with you that my warning sign is irritation. Like even the other day, I was hanging a towel up on the back of the bathroom door on a hook, and it fell. And I went, and I took it again, and I went to hang it up, and it fell again. That irritation was something that made me realize I'm in a stress response, something's going on, or I'm dealing with anxiety or unresolved feelings. I needed to take care of me. So find out those signs without judgment, with that grace, because you deserve care. So I'm thinking, how about when it comes to all of these skills, all of this knowledge, not only for us as leaders, but wouldn't it be really cool to create a culture, a collective of people who understand this stuff, like understand when they are, I'm going to use the word triggered, meaning a stress response has happened. What do they do, and how do other people react and support? I'm thinking that maybe there's a way to get employees, managers, and more trained in these skills. Because, hey, a 1 hour session is really good. A refresh, maybe adding new tools to your tool belt, or reminding yourself that you're going to dive deeper into different skill sets. But I'm saying that this requires practice. I've heard that, we don't necessarily rise to the level of our knowledge. So knowing the stuff that we've gone through today is one thing, but falling to the level of our training is where we go. That practice is huge if you want to create a collective of health, care, connection. And so maybe we look towards getting those trainings. So maybe a certificate in mental health. Things like, okay, we've been doing this for years. I've been facilitating mental health first aid, not only for workplaces, but for veterans and their families and the community. Mental health first aid it's a 1-day course, either virtual or in person, with some pre-work. Get a group together and you start to talk about these skills. You talk about the word tools, the communication skills, the things we need to pay attention to so we can help each other. What about that? I get the sense that everybody needs that training so we can support each other's and ourselves. And then also, have you heard of this? The Working Mind, also from the Mental Health Commission of Canada. It is a set of skills not only that employees can take as a course for, I think, 6 hours. You take a course, there's some pre-work again, then you take this course and you learn about taking care of you. How do you manage your stress response? How do you dive into challenging conversations? How do you help each other? That's a set of skills to learn. And there's a manager's course where there are scenarios that we talk about in terms of how do we really reach out and support each other. So, mental health first aid, the Working Mind, too easy. Courses that I think everyone needs to create a collective where we can manage each other, stress response, manage our own stress response, help reduce anxiety, help people maybe feel like they want to be at work. They want to do the things that they need to do. So we can maybe reduce also some of the long-term and short-term disability situations for mental health challenges. We deserve that. And I think skills can help and happen. And another thing that we at Broadmind are doing, we know that taking care of ourselves is important, and it's a set of skills. So we have full day and half day, virtual and in-person workshops. We talk about what are the foundation pieces of taking care of you. You know that landscape review that I said that we did? Well, we boiled it down into a stack. A very bite-sized, manageable, delicious way of taking care of you. And also, it's not one and done. So we want to build resilience. So we do webinars. We also do in-person sessions. And that can be built 1 hour at a time. These live sessions or recorded sessions can be things that help create sort of peer support and connection, help brush up on skills that are relevant to supporting you in your workplace. I think we deserve a place where we all thrive. And I think that means not only elevating our knowledge, but getting our training up to that level. I hope that makes sense. I am super glad that you are here. We have a website, and that website includes, well, we got a blog. We got ideas that we're throwing out there. It's like throwing things up at the wall saying, does this resonate? And we want to hear from you. So tell us more about what we're putting out there. What do you need? We have a team, and we've got facilitators across the country who are phenomenal. They're the ones that bring the juice, right? Engagement and care. And I wanted to also say, do you see up on there, there's I don't know if you can see my little cursor, but we have a book list. I love reading self-help books, psychology books, and so many of them are up there. Not all, but many of them. And so go check that out. Oh, and we've got merch. Sam, I meant to, yeah, I can't see your face right now, but Sam has been putting together some really cool merchandise, t-shirts, mugs, and more with quirky sayings, things that will elevate the conversation and remind us of our skills and knowledge. So with that, if you if you want to, please connect with us, Sherry at broadmind.ca. Or Sam who manages our client care at broadmind.ca, just please do reach out to us. Tell us what you're looking for. Tell us how we can help. Go to the website, sign up for upcoming courses. Our next is 22 January, a full day mental health first aid course. Just check it out if you want to. With that, we've got a few moments, 6 minutes. Did anybody show up, Sam?
Yeah, so we did get some people to show up. So whoever did show up, thank you so much for joining us, for spending your time with us. I'm really sorry about this whole tech issues that we had, but our next one, we're gonna have another one on January 15th, 2025. And hopefully that one will go a lot more smoother. So we're just getting into it. We're just super thankful that you even took your time to spend with us, and we just hope that this was valuable and that you got some value in any way. So thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
And thank you, Sam. That was fun. You know what? We got some material recorded. The very, and I got the jitters out, so that's good. All right, thank you for being here, everyone. Go and enjoy your Friday. I appreciate you very much.
Thank you all for joining us.
So what do we do now? I could sing. It's time.
Okay, perfect, Jerry. So now